turd buckets that's left. I'll um I'll think more about it after I get done with these plays. Hey, I can't wait for it. Welcome back. I just got done with lunch, and we are looking at seeing what the market has left for us today. We've got a little bit less than 4 hours to make good of it. And in the first part of this day, we saw the first quarter of the day, and we were just seeing how the market would respond. And we knew that it was going to come up into these resistance areas, and either it was going to break out and go high, or it was going to find resistance, come back down, and find a new low, or reaccumulate and make another run before the end of the day. It looks like it's broke out to the high, and now it's going to come down at some point to find support on top of that resistance or that support area, what was resistance, and before the end of the day. Everything is looking very bullish. RRR is just now, it just hit the last high and is rejected off of a little bit, sitting at 94 cents to the good. That could be turned around real quick on the next candle. I still think that this thing could go for the new high like the others will. It still needs to come down and touch the bottom Bollinger Band, which I think is just going to stall at this point before it does. So I think it's going to hit the upper Bollinger Band probably one more time before it does that, and then come down, catapult off the bottom Bollinger Band, and go for a new high, hopefully all by the end of the day. And then we've got ET, which is the runner for the day. ENBL not really far behind, to be honest with you. Probably a little bit more bullish than it is. ENBL sitting at 85 cents on my option call. Looking very bullish on this last set of candles. Getting ready to test the all-time high of 987. Sitting within, what is this? At 81, 84, 7 cents from hitting the all-time high, and it's climbing right now to get to it. I see EMBL probably hitting $1 here shortly on my option call, which means I'll be out of 4 of these option calls rather quickly. And then EMBL, I'm sorry, that's EMBL. ET is actually making a run for the all-time high. I'm sorry, I was on the wrong one. And let me switch it to my other chart. There. This is the one I'm looking at. So ET within now 5 cents of hitting the, 2 cents of hitting the all-time high and making a run for it. And then ENBL is already at its all-time high. It is now creating the all-time high as we speak. And so probably going to hit that upper Bollinger Band, find some resistance there, start coming back down, hit the bottom Bollinger Band. Hopefully the bottom Bollinger Band comes up, probably to just where it's at or slightly underneath it at 823. Bounces off of that, goes for a new high all before the end of the day. So really good things coming from ET and ENBL. Both looking super strong right now. RRR sitting at 70 cents. All of them, I got them set for half of them to be sell once they hit $1. And that's going to put me in position for 3 times my account. And then that's going to leave runners for potential more than 5 times my account. And so that's what we're kind of shooting for, and try to get 5 times my account. But I think that I think it's smarter to let it go, because I was only looking to get double my account or 3 times my account out of this. And so I'm going to go solidify on what I wanted out of this, and now I'm going to leave runners that's going to potentially put me up more than 5 times. And I think that's the smartest way to go about it. CWK still looking kind of bearish. Did make this really big run back up. I like this candle right here. That is very strong. After a flat area right there, you see the push to the downside right there. That's your tail that this is reversing and going back the other way. When you look at your 2 indecisions, you got 1 up, 1 down. It's going to go back in the other direction. Whichever one is the higher or the lower of the 2 indecisions like when you look at a barcode or straight line of indecision, whichever side breaks out the deepest or the tallest is the side that's is the side that's opposite of which way it's going. So breaks to the lower side more so than it does to the high side amongst this little straight line right here, going high. Same thing with the other way around, going low. And so looking for this to go ahead and start running for a new high on CWK, which means that CWK's value should be pumping back up. It's at 95 cents right now. It was at $1 and something, some change, $1.05. And so that should start getting back into the dollar area. Probably gonna, I haven't put in a closing order on that yet because I want to see where this is going to lead. I think that this could probably go to $2 and I don't want to cut myself short on that one. I do want to solidify my profits on these and wait for this to dip back down to a lower price point, then jump back in on some cheaper calls going forward, because I do see a major correction coming down before it starts to go up for a new high after it's done with this move. And so prices should get really cheap on those option calls, especially on the ones about 2 months out. I'm probably going to stagger. I'm going to do one for July 20th or August 20th. And so we're going to split our calls up between those two to see how they play out, because the merger might stagnate out on ET and ENBL for more than a month. It's supposed to solidify by the end of July, but you know how business is, things tie up different things, and so I want to give myself at least another month afterwards to make sure that we're in. Hey Savvy, welcome back to the show. How you doing? WKHS and Pally. Yeah, let's take a look at it. So WKHS workhorse, we are. So I'm looking at a 10-minute chart here. I haven't looked at the day chart yet. So let me switch this to. Let me go to my trading view account. Let's pull up. Oops, I don't want that. Let me switch screens here. There you go. WKHS. Workhorse is looking kind of sad. I've kind of given up on Workhorse, to be honest with you. That and Palantir, they're just getting beat up by the institutionals. They're not letting this thing come up ever since its big squeeze where it pushed it to the downside. It is just not fared very well. But let's see if we can find somewhere in here where it's actually making sense. Let's go to a week. Here we go. So right now you're seeing this area where it's dipping down real low. This is a node right here in between these two candles right here, and there's a gap. It's fulfilling this area where there's a gap, and I don't know if it's done going down, because I mean this whole area is bare right here. This is where it went very bullish and started skyrocketing up, and so this whole area is left bare, which means that it does need to be wicked. And it does, and if this doesn't come down and tap it, it should, because I mean this is definitely, we don't want to see this come back down to this area. So I wouldn't be surprised if I saw this come at least to the $4.84, $5 mark, in between these two candles where a node is, right after the pop up. And if you look at the top of this candle right here at $3.50, I think that's your absolute low. So I'm going to draw some trend lines here, where I think price action shouldn't go below. Let's see, and then I see this here. All right, so these are your two trend lines here, roughly right about $5 and right at $3.50, in that area, I think is your low. I'm gonna draw another one up here, for where it's at. It's already lower than this one here. I think that if it's gonna wick back, it probably wicks back in the middle of these two. might even go right there to where this one touches. So if this thing starts sucking back up and makes it above this this trend line where we're sitting at right here, I think that this it could turn around at this point and start going up. But if it continues on this trajectory going down from where it's at, I think that the low is going to be at the $5 and the $3.50 range. Now, if I was to trend line this out, I can do that and kind of give you an idea where I think this is going to go. It's going to be kind of hard, I think, because of the angle it's at. Don't think that in the past it hasn't really had any movement. So what do we do? Let's see. I guess if I'm predicting it from here, I would go this to this, and then that would be something like that. So why does it keep going down if that's the case? There to there. And kind of need to go from here to here to there to there to there. That fits that perfect. And that. It's a little high. Let me see. Where does this fit? Probably right there. Where does that fit? Bring this all the way down. Bring that to there. I can bring this to that. Not making any progress on that. That to there. Alright, let me get rid of this. So that's a spike up there. That's your triangle. Down, major spike, triangle down, major spike. Yeah, it's just so hard with this one because it just doesn't have enough information to really give you anything that's useful. All you can do is kind of go from where this major spike up was, take it from the low of that area. You can see how it's trying to hold it down right here in this spot right here, so it's consolidating downwards as it comes down from there, and then I can take and pull a trend line from the bottom to here, and then that would be kind of the same thing as what that is there. So that was that there. You can go from here to here. This is the bottom. That. Let's see this. There.
These military working
Boy,
dogs
sure
sure
do
are
know how to pick
smart.
the
What
tough
do you
ones,
think he's
don't you?
trying to say?
He says that you should use Navy
There's
Federal
just not
Credit
enough
Union's
history on
mobile
this
app
to really
because you
kind of
can
focal in on
check your account, pay bills, and send money. Plus,
trend
they have plans with no
past
monthly fees and
to
24/7 human
make it
support.
He
effective
really
on
said all
this,
that.
but I can do
Yep.
this.
But you need to
Here,
get your
I got it.
finances in order.
I just see it. I
Learn
see it
more at
now. So if I did
NavyFederal.org.
this,
Navy Federal
that's
Credit
what this
Union.
is
Our
here.
members are the mission. Message
And
and data rates
then
may
if
apply.
I
Insured by
did
NCUA.
this from here to there, this is your potential run from here. And then, so get rid of this, get rid of this, get rid of this, this, that. Okay. And then it could also be that there, which means that this is this here. And that would be from the top side of the last gap down before it spikes up. Okay. And so then on the same note, so we did that. So then the bottom would be
your money really goes much farther. And well, you get it. Book your exam online today.
In certain states, eye exams provided by independent optometrists
like that.
See store for details.
And then duplicate this. And then if that is the run up there, this is your potential down from there. Oops. I think this is kind of where you're at with this, Savvy. Sorry to take so long on it, but it's just kind of a tricky one to look at. Typically, you got a low, a high, a medium, and then it goes back to that high, right? A new high. So then you got your low, your high, and then a medium right here. And so this is probably where your next run up would be if it decides to go up, would be 36.75. And so right there, maybe basically 37. And your low, your absolute low should be close to 672. And then you should find some type of support right around 26. And that's all saying that it can get back up to those areas. Now, it's on a downward trend right now. I don't see anything that's looking super positive for it going up. But let me check out the... Uh-oh. I got rid of 2 of my option calls. Let's see, sell. Let me look at my monitor here. All right, got rid of 5 of my option calls at $1 on my ET. So that's I'm gonna come back to this in a second. What was the other one? I try. Pally. Is that it? PALI? Let me look at the charts on it. Savvy, I've more than tripled my account so far. I'm setting it up right now to where I can get more than quadruple, more than 5 times. So I'm trying to sell off half of my positions that I have at $1. And so as these come up, hopefully I can get some of these ENBLs about to be there right now. I'll have 4 of those sell out, and I'll be basically at that point I'll be triple my account if all my positions that are go. I cut all my positions in half, and then if they keep going up, I've already guaranteed my triple. Now I've got more than quadruple I can make out of those as I let them run up. And the next spike up that they see, I'll cut those in half again. And then, so that's kind of my thought process on that. And something else I've been thinking about is when I'm charting my accounts and I get to a day like today where everything is pivotal and I have to kind of figure out where the stock is going to be by the end of the day. I've started looking at a 10-minute chart because okay, perfect. I'll check it out too. Looking at a 10-minute chart, that gives me 4 quarters in the day on a 10-minute chart and 36 candles. And 36 candles is enough to finish a full movement in the market. So whether it's going to go into reaccumulation or go into distribution or accumulation or whatever, or redistribution, it only needs 36 candles to do that. So that puts you at the end of the day. So when you're looking at a chart and you're looking at a 10-minute chart and it's starting a position, you can kind of see whether or not it's gonna have a chance to run back up before the end of the day. And so then whether or not you need to start looking at taking your profits if you feel like it's a pivotal moment. So those are my thoughts on that. So Pally, let's take a look at that. Let me save this. So now let's go to Pally. Oof, massive gap down. Let's go to a week on it. Alright, like the way the week looks better. Let's go back here. What in the world happened to this stock? Oh my goodness. That's ugly. Alright, so I like this formation that it's making. You see these movements right here? It's repeating the movements. It's like residual movement effects right here. So it's the same movement though, each time. Exact same movement each time, just smaller residual factor involved on each one. So now it looks like it's ramping down and then about to go flat and then gonna ramp back up, most likely. And so what we'll do is we'll chart, let's see what this looks like from the low to the high. Let me change this to a solid. Okay. So now I'll go here. Oops, wrong one, sorry. Where is it? There. Come on. Come on. I need software that can keep up with me because it's the software. This computer is slow. Alright, so if I was to pull all this over. Apparently this is not going to represent very well because it's so much bigger than it is here. Its potential is massive. What actually is going on with the stock is not very good though. I'm gonna have to start over. That's not gonna work. I'm gonna have to look at this guy here. Alright, so this spike here to this guy here, this one here to this guy here. Alright, see that? This spike here, if we bring it down tight enough, is equal to the height of this candle here. Now, this spike here would be the resistance of it coming back up from there. That to that would be the potential resistance of it when it starts to go flat. These don't look good, Savvy. Just so you know, they look horrible. Oh, I don't like this one. It doesn't look good at all. Readjust that line so it makes sense. So if you take it from the flat area here, I guess if I drew it from back here, that's right, I did do it from there. It just doesn't have a spike down on this one, so it's not long enough. Basically, you're looking at that. There. Same as this one, wasn't long enough. And then from there, there's your flat area. And so, you see this spike up right here? When you have a flat area created and then you spikes up like this, that's saying that this is about to go down, so it's going to come down. So even though it ramps up to this area, it's muting the response from this. It's ramping up to this area and then spiking down. And so that this push right here to the downside is what causes it to go up. So flat area, push to the downside, runs up to the height of this right here, then runs back down and basically mutes the move. So that way it's not so devastating because it's already taken a beating. And that's basically what they did, was they did that to create this false sense of security as it goes up in this area. I'm getting super nerdy right now. For all the retail buyers thinking that they're safe and that the stop isn't going to come past this point. Then they ground zero, a little bit lower than ground zero because you got all these people for the last 6 to 8 months where their stop losses are safe back here. They're driving it just slightly south of that to break all these contracts, these stop losses right here to gather up those contracts. So its move to the downside might relatively be done right here, and you're probably going to see it started going back up. And so that's a pretty good thing from there. For hopefully it'll just keep it'll go sideways, and then eventually it'll try to make a move to go back up. But it just looks beat up right now. I think that if it does have a chance to go back up, it's going to be if this starts to show signs that it's going to reverse and go up. So right here, this looks super healthy. If you go, let me switch charts again. This right here looks really good. So this is a breakout to the upside. This is a reaccumulation right here. And, oops. So 1, 2, 3, distribution up top, back into reaccumulation basically. Going for the new high. So your first sign of whether or not this is going to break to the upside is if it breaks this line. If it breaks this line and goes up and finds support on top of it, it has a chance to run for a higher high. And that's what you want to look for on this one here. Is you want to see, is this going to show resistance and come down? Or is it going to break above it and actually start a candle up here and start going up? And if it starts going up, then you're actually going to see the first signs of relief on this stock as it starts to move up to the upside. So that's not a bad find. I think that right there looks a lot better than this over here. Doesn't mean you're out of the woods on this one, but if you are looking for a quick turnaround and some profits, this would probably be the time to get it because you got low volume as it's rising up, which is what you want. If the volume spikes, that means it's going to come crashing down. And so that's something that you definitely want to stay away from if the volume starts to spike up, because that means that there's a lot of selling involved as well, which means that the float is not absorbed anymore, and there's not going to be as much momentum going up, which is going to show weakness, and then they're going to start dumping their shares. So really pay attention to it once it hits this $6 area to see whether or not it's going to react to it in a positive or a negative way. Let's take a look at LMFA. Isn't that like a pop rock or rap group? LMFA. Isn't that like laughing my effing A off? LMFAO. And there's your O right there. Alright, so this looks like a piranha with its teeth coming right down the center, which is not really bad. It is going to the downside as it gets into this big squeeze here. I'd like to see this dip down and hit this bottom Bollinger Band before it goes up. That would be a super bullish move if it did that. If it comes up and hits the top one first, doesn't mean it's going to come down, but typically when it does, it comes down. But I like the fact that it's coming into this and it hits low, below that mean right there. So it's basically riding low on the Bollinger Band as it goes into the big squeeze, which lines it up for kind of like a catapult. And so now we're straight barcoding right here, and there is that pop right there which says that it's probably going to go down, but look for this dip right here, which might cause it to run up to here. And so if everything I said is true, if this dips right here and runs up to the top Bollinger Band right here, that would put it equal to this candle, the exact same move that we just witnessed on the other stock, on Pally, where it runs up, hits this area, and then comes crashing back down to the bottom Bollinger Band right here to break those contracts of all the contracts that have stop losses that are right below this area because it hasn't been broken over the last couple hours. And so breaks those contracts, hits its bottom Bollinger Band, gathers up liquidity, absorbs the float, then goes for a new high. So not a bad thing if it does come up here and hit here and then come back down. Not a bad thing at all. Actually very healthy. Pretty strong move if you ask me. It's the up, it's kind of like a whipsaw. Up, down, back up. You know, it's just gonna boom. It's a power move. And so you're going to see it hit the upper Bollinger Band, hit the bottom Bollinger Band, then run back up to the top Bollinger Band and break free of this area, find support on top of this area, and run for a new high. Boom. So that is LMFAO without the O. Let's see what else we got. GVSI and MEIL. GVSI. ENBL. I do need to look at my portfolio. 4829. Alright. So these haven't hit that area yet. CWK still looking stagnant. And GVSI going into a big squeeze, really long extended squeeze. Oh my gosh, it's like looking at a sniper rifle. What's interesting is that it did touch the top for the first time right here. So this is doing exactly what I was saying. It comes riding in low on the bottom Bollinger Band, hits the bottom right here, springs off of it, goes up to the top Bollinger Band, comes back down, hits the bottom Bollinger Band, and now it's riding in the middle again, getting ready to do it all over again. Does a dip here, runs up, runs back down to break that trend line right there. Let me draw it. This is the move right here. Runs up. So you had the spike up right here, which meant that was going to come down. Comes down. Goes back up. Dips before it goes for the spring. Dips. Goes up. Hits the high of this area right here. Dips back down. Back to the low. Lower than where it had been for the last 8-10 candles. Gets into the takes and breaks those contracts, those stop losses, and now reaccumulates and tries to make a run to go back up for a high. And so that's what it's doing right now, is it looks like it's trying to set up to go for a high. It's got a curve right here, which is the dip, before, like the push before the pull. So you're going to see pressure right here going down. In response, you're looking for the market retail to respond going back up. All right, so that is basically what you're going to be looking at for the next hour on this stock right here. So it's a 10-minute chart. We're probably looking at the same amount as it takes to get down into this curve, to get out of it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to get to the middle, That's still the middle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to start climbing out, which is going to be, if this is the run up right here, you've got a gap up on that one. So realistically, it's probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 candles on a run up. And so that would be 1 candle here plus 5 candles at 10 minutes. That'll be an hour long chart, or hour long set of candles right here on your run up. So after an hour, ask me to take a look at it again. We should be seeing something that's close to about this area right here. It might tap that and it might come back down to find support on this area right here before it runs up and makes a new high. Let me see what else we got. MEIL. I like it. I like this list of things to take a look at. Keeps me from like staring at my stocks and wondering what it's doing. EMBL, 2 cents from hitting the dollar mark. About to sell 4 of my option calls on that, putting me that much closer to my goal for the day. I am super stoked about that. Financial freedom, insight. I can grab it. I am going to grab it. All right, so let's see. Not many people can do that. You know, you say 90% of people who play the stock market end up failing. That is not going to be me. No, sir. Not today. Isn't that right, Savvy? We're not going to fail. Not going to hold us down. Let's see. MEIL is... I should have looked at it on the daily chart on the other one too. Sorry about that. But we are looking at it for what's going to happen today. So we can get all that off of this chart right here. So it made a run up, riding the upper Bollinger Band, super aggressive, not at a super aggressive angle though, just kind of like procrastinating out. What I call this is it's a waiting move. It's waiting for the rest of the timelines to catch up to this moment right here. And so when it's doing this right here like this, it's stalling out, waiting. And then so when all the other time frames catch up, that's when you have a change in I can't think of the word, but a change in pattern or change in the way that it's acting. And so it changes right here and goes up, spikes up, creates the new high, comes dipping back down. Same move as all the other ones. You got this push right here, push down, so it's the push before you pull, right? And so then it barcodes here, waiting for the other timelines to catch up, pops up right there, comes crashing back down into liquidity, just like the other ones, to break those stop losses of all these, contracts that were just sitting here for hours that didn't get broke. Gathers up liquidity, absorbs up the float, and tries to make a run back up. It looks like it tries to absorb right. Honestly, it doesn't look like it tries to absorb there at all. Let me see. Here? Yeah, right here. Deeper than it did before. There's a second foot down deeper than that one. And here's a third foot down deeper than that one. Tries to take a free ride up right here. And so now that these candles are white and blue, as long as they stay white and blue and it keeps moving up, this should start to see its way back up. But it looks like it's having trouble moving up, and I don't really see the volume spiking, so not really in trouble of coming down either right yet. But I imagine that if retail doesn't get behind this and start pushing this thing up, it's probably going to start to see its way back down to break more stop losses, to gather up more momentum or more of the float so they can have more control. So when retail does decide to get active on it, it'll push it up at a much faster pace. So that's kind of what you're seeing right there. Is kind of like a stalemate between retail and institutional. Institutional has done their job. So if you want to get on the horn and tell all your people to jump in on MEIL to push this thing north so it doesn't come back down, now's the time to do it, because otherwise it's going to come down over if it just stalemates for X amount of time. Institution's not going to just sit in this thing and put more money into it to get it to go up. They're going to dump their shares to pick up the shinier pennies down here to get it to go up. So that's what you're looking at on MEIL. TEGR. Let's see. TEGR. Terra Energy and Resource Tech. Sub penny stock. All right. So this one is different from the other one. Like this is the O. Remember LFMAO? And that was the O. Well, then this is the opposite of LMFAO. This is the same shape, but look at the price action. Curls in like this and curls back up to the top. And so it did come in riding low into this area right here, but instead of touching this bottom Bollinger Band, ran up and hit the top first. So you're going to see it hit this, probably respond by coming back down, hit the bottom one, then turn around and go back up and make a run for the new high. Not a bad move. It just means you have another run down before it runs up. Unless retail gets behind this move right here and really pushes it up, that's what I kind of see it happening, is just get pushed down. So just gotta kind of watch that and see if it's going to break that area. There's your threshold right there. Here's your preliminary threshold right there. It's already above that. Can it find support right here, bounce off of it and go higher? I don't know. Does it need to come back down to the mean, which is right here, and then bounce up and go up? Maybe. Or is it going to call it quits, come back down to here, pick up more control of that float, and then run up for a new high? Possibly. So there's your 4 points of interest right there. So hopefully that helps, gives you an idea of what you should anticipate out of that. Super interested in what ENBL is doing right now. Is it going to run up? Is it taking a break? It's at an all-time high right now. Printed a red candle. It's got a green candle in response with a lot of volume in it, so might be some selling off going right here. I need this thing to go ahead and sell those 4. I'm surprised that it's not moving up. Let's take a look at the... Where's my price point? We're here, and we're in at the 750. So it's at 95 cents on this one. Oh, my tailbone. Just needs 2 more cents. We just need a very bullish green candle to take this high right here, which is look like it's doing right now. We're exactly at 849 right now. Just dipped down to 847. Somebody just sold off a position, but that's okay. It's gonna pump as it goes up. Now it's at 850. Just broke the high. Solid. Do we see response in the option stock price? Not yet. 98 cents. It needs to go a little bit higher. So this is where we're reaching up, and we got our hands all the way up, and we're like our elbows are straight, and we're like, now just reach a little bit higher. And that just goes to show you that even though you're giving it your all, if you really think about it, if you just push a little bit harder, you can always get a little bit higher. And so that's what we're waiting on this right here, is can we get a little bit higher? Let's see. Come on now. Let me look at a tick chart on this. I might need to do a post. And here, ENBL just started a new candle. Not that anybody listens to me on here. ENBL sitting at an all-time high. Can we get retail to get behind it, behind this to keep it moving? Taking a picture of my prediction. Waiting for it to print. There it goes, hitting enter. Now let's take a look at ET. ET is probably sitting at the exact same place, just hit $10. $10.03 is its all-time high. Already put a wick back to the area that it broke out of to find support, and it's on its move to move up. This is the one I've already sold 5 positions of this. I've already secured the money that I've invested in this stock, like more than the money that I've invested in this stock, but I've secured my whole amount of my account in this one stock on 5 option calls. I still got 5 option calls left. So now we just try to see if this thing is going to print. Is it going to go, is it going to go parabolic? Because it's set up for it. It's already broke its high. It's already found support on it. It can keep going. And that's what we want. Is this going to run for the next 3.5 hours or 2.5 hours? Let's see. RRR sitting at 85 cents. ENBL sitting at 64 cents. ET. Let's do ET too. ET. Excuse me.
At Floor & Decor, we know Pro. As your one-stop source, we deliver everyday savings on over 1 million square feet of
Come
in-stock
on,
flooring,
let's
tools,
go.
and
Today is a
installation
glorious
materials.
day in the market
Now
for
our
me.
award-winning
Everybody else
experts
might
can
be
help save
complaining. I'm
time
okay
and
with
money
that.
with our best-in-class selection
Because
at
I'm
rock-bottom
not
prices.
following
And
everybody
with
else.
pro-level benefits like our dedicated pro service team, pro hotline, free 14-day storage, and unbeatable pro loyalty program, you get
I have
what you
found
need
my
when you
niche in
need
the
it,
market,
where you
and I
need
am
it.
running
Come
with it.
discover Floor & Decor, where we know Pro.
One of my stocks is sitting 157% today.
This is an Aflac
Another one
commercial.
sitting at
Now,
30. The
our
other one sitting at
spokesperson would
20.
be doing the talking, but he's a duck.
ET is sitting at
Yes, a
100%,
duck
I
who
think,
only
today.
says, and he'd like you to know that health insurance wasn't intended to cover everything.
Come on,
He'd also
EMPO.
like you to
I
know
know you
that
can make a run for
can
it.
help
Let's
with
go.
expenses health insurance doesn't cover.
So let's take a
So
picture of
next time
this.
you're
That's
stuck
good.
with an
Let's
unexpected
go.
medical bill, just
Post
remember
that.
that you're cute.
Look at this.
Get to know us at Aflac.com. Click the banner to learn more.
Back
At
into
CDW,
this.
we get that even the biggest jobs need to fit on your lap.
It's
ET is still
and
sitting
it's
in a
fair
big
work that
squeeze.
happens right here on my
Still
lap.
hasn't made a move
Get it
outside of that.
faster with the
Oops,
performance
let's
and security
shrink
of a
this back
device
down.
configured by
Oof.
CDW and powered by the Built for Business Intel V Pro platform.
Nice.
Are you done yet, Mommy?
More time for story time.
An even better use of your lap. IT
This thing
orchestration by
can go if it
CDW.
would just pop
People
up
who
and
get
run.
it. Find out more at cdw.com/Intel Client.
Slight push down right here with the response of it coming back up. You and me together. Come on, let's go. Need ENBL to take an upgrade. Come on. ENBL needs to move. Sitting at the exact same place as ET up on the chart. Just now getting ready to go into the big squeeze, or maybe just coming out of its squeeze. I'm not really sure. They're short-lived either way. Sitting on top of its high. Sitting right underneath its high actually at 849. This thing can run. Let's go. Let's stinking go. This thing needs to go up to $14 by the end of July. So really sitting low, relatively where it should be. It's got plenty of room to grow, and so we're just sitting waiting for it to take a move, and it's slowly starting to get there. I'm 2 cents away from breaking off on 4 of my option calls to secure my money. If I do successfully get rid of 4 of these, that'll put me at a guarantee of $900 in my account, which is almost double what I started off with, and with the rest of mine still at runners. And I do have CWK that is extremely close to being at $1, which I could have let go half of those calls to be to guarantee my place. But I do think that it can run higher. Probably going to think about taking 2 of those options out by the end of the day, no matter where it's at. EMBL just went up to $1.03. Oh my God! Here we go. Let's go. EMBL just sold 4 contracts. Now we're solidifying our spot. $900 in the bank. Let's go. CWK just waiting for a move out of them. RRR just waiting for them to respond back on that. I am stoked right now. Let's go. All right, RRR coming down again. So we got your 1, 2, 3. Gonna hit this bottom Bollinger Band, bounce up, go for a new high. Hopefully by the end of the day. So we should be seeing it breaking the 70-cent range and getting back up into that dollar area. CWK, let's take a look at it. CWK now sitting at 25 cents, starting to look kind of bullish right here. Lots of indecision as it's getting through this resistance area, which is fine because I mean it's got a lot of areas right there where it's trying to break through, and we're also trying to gather up the rest of retail to be on the same side of the fence. So we did dip down into this area, came back up, found support on top of the mean, bouncing out of that support area, coming up, finding support on top of that area, and then bouncing out and going for a new high. Now, the way that this Bollinger Band is looking, it's pointing up, so we might actually get a chance to run up here to break this high up here, which is going to be at the 1846 mark, and then maybe even make a run up to the 1861 mark. If that happens, then we're definitely going to be back up into the dollar area. Realistically, all this thing has to do with the way it's sitting right now at 93 cents. It's been holding strong on that 90 area, even in this big dip right here. It's now sitting at 93, so it's definitely building up a lot of volatility and momentum. So if this thing decides to break out, I see this thing jumping over $1 as well, probably before it even hits this area right here at 1847. So holding tight, seeing if this thing is going to start moving. We got ENBL. Where is it? Sitting at $8.50. Is it going to make a move up? CWK is starting to come in with a little bit of a red candle. Might be the push before the pull. ENBL sitting at $8.50, $8.52 of a high. So the next pop you're going to see is if it breaks that $8.52. It's only 2 cents away from where it's at. Anything can happen on there. On the tick chart, we've got about 100 ticks before it starts a new candle. Looking kind of bullish there, creating a little bit of an indecision. These two down here, UAMY and XPOA, are basically amounting to be nothing still, so no big deal there. What else we got going on? That is it. We're waiting on CWK, ET, ENBL, and RRR. If ET can make a run to get past this area right here and come back down and find support on it, it's already above the area where it was at. If it could just find support right here and start running up and break away from this area, that'll create some distance between it and this area to where it doesn't come crashing down below it. Because that's all it needs to do, is it needs to run up to drag this Bollinger Band up for it to stay up here, because gravity is basically chipping in right now and it's saying, hey, you need to come down, and it just needs to defy gravity and run up. It just needs to just keep running up. The higher up it goes, the better the chances it stands of not crashing down to that area, because it's going to drag this Bollinger Band up to meet it. And so that's what we're waiting on ET. Looking at it to see whether it's going to go up or if it's going to come crashing down. I do want to see what the trade value is on it. It's sitting at 98 cents. God bless it. doing its work, boy. I'm telling you what, doing its work. And every time it adds, um, every time it adds to its price point, it adds nothing. It's saying nothing to it. So it's just going to be $1 for every. Okay, so now it just downgraded. Now now it's back up. So it hits $1, it goes to 0. And so just straight printing $100 per contract for every dollar it goes up from here. So holding tight says I've seen these go higher than that, but I mean I'm happy with that either way. $500 for every dollar it goes up from here, I'll take it. Let's stink and go. You know, is it worth an extra dollar on top of that? Absolutely. That's was that ET? Yeah, ET. I gotta get situated. My leg's killing me. ET's worth $12, so we should be seeing another $1,000 out of this stock, easy, before the end of the month. And EMBL, it's saying it's up 163, so EMBL's moved. Not much, but it's moved. It's at $8.50. We should be seeing another $6 out of this thing before the end of the month. So, I mean, this thing should just go straight on a bull run. If this thing just started going, I mean, nothing's stopping it. It's just going to go. And if you look at ENBL, where's the gamma on this thing? Sold 400 at 4, 8 contracts at 2, doubled my money on those. I've got another 4 sitting at 400 right now. This thing can just go. It's gone parabolic. Go. Look, it's making it run back up. This thing can go. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Contemplating what the next option call is going to be on it. If I look at this down here, switch this to the August 20th, which I don't think is going to take that long for it to get up to price. I actually think it's going to do it by June, but I don't want to shoot myself in the foot. Go to August 20th and get them at 13 cents. I mean, that's strong right there. I mean, you really can't beat it at 13 cents. 402 buying power. I can get back in on these at 13 cents in August. Delta's $18. I bought 10 calls at 130 bucks. I'm gonna wait for a strong pullback before I jump back in on this, but probably that's what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna look at the August 20th call at $10 because I know it's gonna go up to 13. Get them at 13 bucks. I know I'm just repeating what I did last time, but it just is the smartest move because if it does take a downturn, it's gonna drop the value of it, and there's no point in paying a premium of $1.05 to be in the money when I can pay 13 cents on each option call and be just slightly outside of the money, but be making money as it gets into the money, versus taking it at $1.05 at a premium, getting less option calls, Gamma's on that is 75, what is that, 87 cents. So if it goes up $1.50 on, I can only get so many of those at $1.05, so that'd be 105 bucks. I'd be able to get 4 calls. It would go up 88 bucks if it went up $1. I'd actually make more money. 488 be 320 bucks that it would make on $1, whereas if I got 10 at $1.05, or 13, then it goes up $1, I'm making 18, so I'm making 180 bucks, I'm making half the money on twice as many calls. But if it goes up another $1 after that, then I'm adding $0.18 on top of that, 20 cents on top of that, so then I'm making 380. And then this is probably stopping at $1, so I'm making 400 on that one. Longevity wise, I'm making more money if I buy it outside the money, because I'll have more option calls and they'll be valued at the same price as that is on 4. It'll start outperforming the 4 option calls on the in the money call after the first $1. I think that's the way to go. Maybe I get 1 in the money and I get I don't know. I can actually do shorter term in the money. Do this June 18th, get 1 in the money for 93 cents, which is more expensive, but again, I would wait for a downturn and get this at a cheaper price.
At CDW, we get that a side-by-side system won't make
My
your
nose is
employees
itching me.
more
I'm
productive
gonna
from
sneeze.
home.
Call me Brian. I can vacuum your dog.
That's right.
Woo!
At CDW, we can design
EMBL
connectivity
taking
solutions
downturn,
for
showing a little bit of red here.
fast, reliable connectivity to help your people manage
It's alright,
their
we sold
workloads
4 of
the
those.
right way.
We are sitting pretty on that.
No. For technology that moves you forward, trust Lenovo and IT orchestration by CDW. People who get it. Learn more at cdw.com/Lenovo client.
I'm gonna straighten my legs out.
¡Qué mamey!
¡Qué papiado!
¡Qué corrioso!
¡Qué cuajo!
Nah, ellos no solo hablan de ti. Están hablando de la nueva Ford F-150 2021, la cual puede cargar y remolcar lo que tú necesitas.
Ah, qué trabajo.
Excuse me.
Sí. Y también tenemos
Let's look at this. I want to see what the outside the money call is on this for
Solo puede ser F-150.
June 18th at $10. It's only a freak cheaper than that. And they force you to spend 5 cents on it. So you have to spend 5 cents to get outside the money calls on this.
During Military Appreciation Month, Navy Federal wants to
And you're making
celebrate the commitment that connects us to
next
our
to nothing on them
members. Share your
as
own
it moves
shout-out
up.
at #MissionMilitaryThanks. Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members.
My positions by the end of the day. I've got 2 hours and 20 minutes left. Still plenty of time to do it. RRR is starting to round out and get into position to kind of help facilitate that for me. CWK also rounding out and getting ready to get into position. It's barcoding right now, but definitely is in position to make a run for the high right here. It's already did its accumulation run, so it could just bounce up and go up. So EMBL and ET and EMBL both hit $1 today and got me out of position on those. Don't know if CWK has it in it to make it past $1. Today, that is what we're looking at right now. It is creating a deep V, which typically means it's going to run back up, hit the top Bollinger Band. It didn't even touch the bottom Bollinger Band, but it could curve down and hit this and then go back up, which might cut it tight for the end of the day, but it might actually do that. Boom, go back up. Should I sell 2 of the option calls right now? Let's look at what we spent for it. So I spent $260 for it. I want to get, if I sell 2 option calls, I want to get at least $260 out of them, which means it has to be $1.30 to get that out of it. I've got my sell call to get in to be taken out at $1.50. If this thing started making a run up right now, we would have an honest chance of getting up to $1.50. But seeing that it's coming down right now makes it look like it's about to find support on top of the high of where that candle is back there, and find support there and bounce out and go long. So gonna kind of stall out a little bit and push this out a little bit more, but we still should definitely see a run up before the end of the day on this. That red candle that was forming is just sucked back up and turned into a green candle, starting to pump up, going up. So this might actually make the run right now. It looks like it's trying to gather up momentum, and we're going to get that free ride up. So low volume demand ride up. So high demand for the price are the leftover contracts that are left out in the float. High demand on those by retail. Retail starting to jump in. So let's go ahead and make a post on that. Not that anybody listens to me, but you know what? It doesn't hurt. People see it enough, maybe they'll jump in. Fuck do you spell pivotal? Keep butchering this word. Pivot. Boom. Let's see what this is. Okay. Am I losing my signal here? Looks like I am. There I am. Let's see. CWK. Come on now. You can make it. Just sitting and waiting, and not really much to do while we wait these out. Unless somebody posts something, or a ticker or something like that for me to take a look at. Really not much else to do but just to look at the ones I've got. Because that's where my money's tied up at. So CWK sitting at 25 cents for the good for the day. I need it to go up. I mean, it's in the money, but if it makes a run right now, it'll start printing, which will give me a position to get out of half of these. I've got 4 of them. I want to go ahead and drop 2 before the end of the day. Whether it goes up or down from right here, it should still have enough time to get us to a point where we can find a place to get out of it by the end of the day. ENBL sitting up at 60 cents. Already got 4, or yeah, I've already dropped 4 positions out of this one before it dropped. So just waiting for this to solidify, turn back around, and see how it does for the rest of the day. RRR. This one's been up above $1 or very close to it, I think already twice, but has come back down because of the way that they bring it down and kind of hold it down a little bit. Just now starting to solidify at the bottom here, starting to make a rally to run back up here. So the little dip before the buy, or the push before the pull. So it's still going to make a run for the high right now is what it looks like. And so just waiting for the momentum to carry it up right now as we wait on it. Sitting at 70 cents, been sitting there for pretty much the whole day. So if it can get past this point right here, which is 38.60 or 38.50 in that area, you're going to start to see this thing start to move, and you're going to see the price of it change. Now I've only got 2 option calls on that, so really waiting for it to get up into $1 before I even do anything on it. Might not even do anything on it. I'm not really sure. That's kind of like my gamble one, even though it did cost me I think one of the most out of the ones I'm in. Let me take a look at this and see. Yeah, this one cost me $70 to get in. The other one cost me like 35 or something like that, 32. So if this thing gets up to $1.40, I can go ahead and sell one of these and cover my cost on this and have another one as a runner. So that's kind of the goal for this one, is just to kind of get up there to cover costs, because I've already made profits on the other ones. Basically sitting at double my account balance right now as it sits. So in a really good position on everything right now. If everything decides to go south, I've already covered my cost on everything and sitting at double my account balance. So about 2/3 of what I wanted to accomplish so far today. Just waiting for CWK and RRR to kind of come into fruition of what I think it can do. And it looks like RRR right now on low volume is starting to make a move up, getting ready to break the previous resistance line of 38.46, sitting right at it right now. And so one good push, and that'll push us over, then that'll get us up into the upper area there, the upper stratosphere, looking to come back down, solidify, put a foot down on 38.46 to take off to go for a higher high. And if it follows for what I predicted it to do, if it's going to follow suit at the last one, if it goes for a new high, it's probably going to go up to 38.96, probably not a penny more. And start to show signs of resistance or sucking back from there. It's not I think this is going to show some a little bit of resistance before it gets up into 40, and come back down, reaccumulate, and then make a run for the 40 on the next run, which will probably be on Monday or Tuesday. Usually they're going to pick one or two of those days in the beginning of the week to hold it down a little bit, to make it look, to kind of get retail to kind of get engaged with it. EMBL back up to $1. I like seeing that. That means ET's back up to $1 too as well. CWK soon to follow shortly, I'm sure. RRR starting to suck back a little bit on this candle right here, but I think it's got plenty of room to grow. And let's take a look at CWK. CWK sitting at 24 cents, so taking, now showing it did have a red candle. Now it's starting to suck that back up, going back up to push up against 1834. And at 1834, that would be at the 25-cent resistance area that it's been sitting at for most of the day, or at least for the last hour. And so looking to see if this little push down before the pull is going to help get it over that area, and if it does, it's probably going to find support back on top of that 18. So just waiting and seeing on what's to come of that.
Lowe's has more of what trade pros like you need to get the job done. That means more delivery options, more convenient hours.
Just need the market to respond. Let's see what they have in store for us right now. Let's look at the control panel.
Landscapers, painters, plumbers, and other pros helped make Lowe's the new
I don't want to have
pros.
that.
US only.
Thought I didn't need that to see it. No, that was on the other, I guess.
So let me get a beat, please. We are back, season 2. Let's go.
This is why we came to Legendary.
Okay, RRR showing a downturn in its value at 68 cents. 2 cents lower than where it's been sitting. Not a big deal. Just usually, I mean, that's kind of what happens when it stalls out. So just waiting for it to make a move. See it creating this green candle and sucking back off of that resistance line isn't a good sign. It's showing that there's weakness there and that it's afraid to move up past that. So we just need a little bit of a rally for RRR. So let's go ahead and post something about RRR because we haven't done that yet. Let's flip this into a dark screen. There we go. Oops, got switch this to a day chart.
Honey Stinger Rapid Hydration. This is hydration solved. To get started, visit honeystinger.com.
Okay. There we go.
Give me something cause I'm getting low. What's your secret cause I need to know? How do you stay so fucking positive? I got damage and it won't let go. But there's a way to be like you, I know. How do I keep myself sane in this? So come around and see me fade. I think I gotten good at that. Used to think I'm really brave. Guess I never really was. Come around and see me fade. Think I gotten good at that. Used to think I'm really brave. Guess I never really was. If I only had your heart, I could beat the system. If my darkness comes to fight, don't pretend you missed it. Tell me that I'm doing
I like this song, Come Around. Alright, come on RR, come on CWK. I really want CWK, you're right there. All you have to do is just make a move up. RRR, I know you're getting in position. You might need another couple of days to get there. There you go, RRR is showing. so RR's coming down in value because of the resistance it's seeing on this line, which is causing volatility in the options, which potential buyers are looking at this and saying this is a spot where they feel like this is a good place to get in. So some orders have come in to jump in at this price. They're seeing it as a discount, thinking that it's ready to go. And so this just jumped up to 0.73 from 0.68, which means that we should have a lot more support in the price of where it's at, and that it should be higher going forward. Just got corrected back down to 70. Somebody put in the order and then took it out, it looks like, because I hadn't seen the price move at all. And so that happens a lot. Again, that's the volatility that I'm talking about. People are jumping in and out, trying to figure out whether or not this is a good deal or not. And so it is just stagnating, just waiting for it to pop. We get enough support down here in this area right here, the thing's gonna pop for real. Trend lines is where it is at. I see people in the chat talking right now. All you need to do is look at RSI. When it dips below 40% on the thing, that's when you get in. I mean, honestly, you really can't go by anything like that. Those are all emotional triggers that even the institutional buyers use sometimes to kind of see where other people are looking at, and they dip it past those areas. I like to use trend lines that the institutional buying has already created and watch to see the price action replicate based off of that, basically repeating what it's already done in the past. And so when you do that, it takes all the emotional process out of it and leaves it up to them to kind of figure it out. So CWK just took a little bit of a hit. Let's take a look at it and see. It just lost 10 cents. So looks like we got a bleeder right here. And this is what I was talking about. This could be at a point where it turns down right here, it comes down, hits the bottom Bollinger Band, then runs back up, creating that W shape right here, and then running up. It also could be the dip right here to hit this area right here, the top of this Bollinger or this candle, to find support on top of this the structure after it broke through this high, or I'm not really sure that's a high, but this is where the candle stopped. It spiraled out from on top of that. It could come down, find support on top of it, and then bounce out and go long. Realistically though, it might actually just come all the way down to the top of the middle of this curve. And you see this candle in the middle here that's poking out, or right here, the base is this candle right here though. At 1805, might come down to 1805, bounce out and go long. Again, we still have plenty of time before the end of the day before we have to worry about whether or not it's going to make it. So it's about another hour. I'm probably going to take a break while everything starts to stall out and let this have some time to move and get out of this these downturns, and come back for the power hour. This will be my third stream for the day. I think I've covered enough for the day so far. You saw me take my positions and take some profit, and so I've achieved what I wanted to do for the most part. I'm waiting for these other two to come into fruition, but just sitting here staring at them isn't going to get them there. They're going to have to make some moves to the downside to get back up, and there's just no point waiting for all that until it does. So if I start to see it move earlier than that, I'll come back. My name's I Can't Wait For It. Thanks for tuning in. And we'll see if we can seam up the other two contracts or option calls and take our profits